Chapter 1 I actually traveled through time. You are listening at novelfull.audio. F***ck, I fucking traveled through time. This is not a joke, right? I clearly remember that I had dozens of episodes of the Douluo Daughters anime, and after watching the ending in one go, I woke up and was transported back in time. Or traveled to the world of Douluo. Okay, this was quite sudden, and I was not prepared at all. Hey, let's take what comes as it comes. After a long day of ideological struggle, I accepted this outrageous fact. It's just time travel, so let's do time travel, but what the hell is it like to throw me into this barren mountain? Others who traveled through time either started over from their mother's womb, or their souls traveled to the Aborigines to inherit the memories of the original body and had strong strength or a huge family to back them up. Even if they didn't, they would at least have a place to stay and grow up. But what about me? A gangster wants martial arts but not martial soul, wants soul power but not soul power. How to survive in this world? No, not to mention surviving, I don't know where I am now, and I don't know if I can safely find a nearby town or city. But fortunately, I awakened the Golden Finger Zhu comprehensive diary system when I was panicking. As long as I write a diary, I can get rewards. Sure enough, those seniors did not deceive me. As a person who has loved reading novels and comics since I was a child, and even wrote a few fanfics, I am naturally no stranger to such a system. But what makes me a little strange is that Zhu Zongman diary system is somewhat worth thinking about the word Zongman. Is it possible that this will also involve many comics worlds? If this is the case, all I can say is good guy, really good guy. Ahem, I accidentally went too far. Let's talk about the current situation. If I guessed correctly, when I got this system, all the scenes in the world of Douluo Continent were more important. Beautiful beauties will get a copy of this diary. For example, the three beauties of Wuhandian, Pope Bibi Dong, Qianren Xue, and Hu Laina, or the three beauties of Shrek, Xiao Wu, Zhu Zhuqing, and Ning Rongrong, and other beauties Bo Saishi, Shui Binger, by Qinxiang. Wait, there are too many, and it is possible to have them all. After all, there are basically no ugly women in the second dimension, let alone the most popular Douluo Continent, which has countless beauties. Although I don't know if I said it right, I can guarantee that you must have the three beauties of Wuhandian and the three beauties of Shrek, so the beautiful women of Donger, Xue and Nana who are watching, I love you. As for the Shrek three beauties, I love you all too, but as a staunch supporter of Donger, my political slogan is down with Tang San, long live Wuhuan Palace. Okay, having said that, everything is just my guess. I still don't know where the timeline is now. The main reason is that the system only gave me a reminder of the world I am currently in, and nothing else. I don't know where the timeline is now. Diao Tang San has awakened his martial spirit, or Xiao Wu, Zhu Qin, Rongrong, have you joined Shrek? It would be funny if you not only joined Shrek Academy, but also reached the level of title Douluo. Of course, according to the Traveler's Manual in the usual fan fiction, the system says that this is the world of Douyin. It is impossible to advance the plot to that point even if you think about it, otherwise there would be no point in sending me here. Anyway, please wait a moment. Let me find some nearby towns and cities to inquire about. I will wait until I know the specifics, and then I will chat with you all. Oh, by the way, reminder, all the beauties who are reading my diary, especially the beauties Donger and Xue, please don't mobilize your forces to come to me. Although I support your plan, I am also a person who is afraid of death. I will not reveal my whereabouts, nor will I tell you my real name. After all, it is not easy to survive in this world. Of course, if I wait until I am strong enough and have the ability to protect myself, I will definitely take the initiative to find you. Why do I say that you are so beautiful? I don't have any small thoughts. It is all nonsense. I am a normal man. So, all you beauties, I don't know if I am lucky enough to be favored by you. If so, the more the better. Hey, okay, the system says that the daily update of the diary should not be less than 1,000 words. Now it is enough. Let's stop talking here for now. I will go to collect the reward first. My family wishes me the European Emperor's possession. Well, I almost forgot. There should be rewards for watching this copy of the diary, such as punching in, signing in, etc. Take your time and explore on your own, but don't forget it. If you don't, you will suffer a big loss. Don't blame me for not telling you. After writing down the diary, Wu Xing took a long breath after exiting the panel, and then communicated with the diary system expectantly. System, collect the reward. After Wu Xing finished communicating with the diary system, a mechanical voice sounded in his mind the next second. Ding. It is detected that the host has completed the first diary and will receive the reward of martial soul awakening. Congratulations to the host, the martial soul has been awakened successfully. The martial soul, the heart of origin, the innate soul power is level 30. Ding. Since this is the first time for the host to write a diary, he will receive an additional reward. Congratulations to the host for receiving a perfect 10,000-year soul ring. As the voice ended, a ray of light suddenly sank into Wu Xing's eyebrows, and then all the specific information about his martial soul emerged. After receiving the reward, Wu Xing couldn't help but take a breath. He was completely shocked. For a moment, ecstatic, Wu Xing was not shocked by the level 30 innate soul power, nor was he ecstatic because he had obtained the perfect 10,000-year soul ring with unlimited absorption, but because of the ability of the original heart of the martial soul he possessed. Heart of origin, the soul skill that can generate all the corresponding soul rings in the Douluo Continent anime. Woohoo, take off. Wu Xing wished he could look up to the sky and scream. My own martial soul can actually release all the soul skills corresponding to the soul rings of the year in the anime. No wonder it is called the Heart of Origin. They are all conceived and embodied from the original world, with such an exaggerated martial spirit, who can compare with him? Just ask who else. Even if other soul masters reach title Douluo, they only have 9 soul skills, and even if they have twin martial souls, they only have 18 soul skills combined, but he has countless soul skills. Although releasing soul skills requires the consumption of soul power, he has more changes. He is a complete hexagonal warrior without any shortcomings. It is no exaggeration to say that one person is a team. In addition, the principle of mutual generation and mutual restraint can also be made, and achieving leapfrog combat is not a problem at all. Make big money. Wu Xing shouted ecstatically in his heart, and it took him a long time to calm down his excitement. For a moment, he even had the urge to share his martial arts spirit in the diary panel, but finally stopped. Although his martial spirit is heaven-defying, it is still far from invincible. Leaking his martial spirit out is tantamount to adding an extra risk. If someone with an intention to find it through this characteristic, the gain will outweigh the loss. It's better to leave this useless place now. Finding a place to stay is the most important thing. After gathering his mind, Wu Xing looked around, then found a direction and ran towards that direction. Now that he has some strength, his life is relatively guaranteed even if he is in the Soul Beast Forest. While Wu Xing was looking for a small town, the entire Douluo Continent, Wuhuan Palace, Shrek Academy, Poseidon Island, and even important anime characters who were not in this world, all got a copy of Wu Xing's diary. This book has many female protagonists. If you don't like it, don't read it. In addition, I ask for your support for the new book. QQ Chat Group 45801978. Chapter 2 exclusive to Bibi Dong. You are listening at Novelful.audio. Wuhuan City, the Pope's Palace, a woman wearing a purple gold crown with 9 curves on her head and a long golden dress sat on the throne. The dazzling dress was glittering and inlaid with countless gems of different colors, all of which highlighted her grace and splendor. Those slender legs stretched out from the dress, wrapped in gray stockings, without any flaws. They were like works of art given by God, making people addicted at first sight. Although the woman's smooth lotus arms were drawn out from her clothes and held up her perfect face with a lazy look, the invisible nobility and sanctity exuded from her body made people want to worship her. Mood, she is none other than the current Pope of Wuhuan Palace, Bibi Dong. Bibi Dong's crystal clear and charming eyes were slightly squinted, and she was listening to the reports from her subordinates below. Suddenly, a voice rang out from her mind, causing her originally lazy body to suddenly shake, and she stood up from the papal throne. The terrifying aura erupted and instantly filled the entire hall. Huh? Who? Bibi Dong gave a soft drink, and her crystal eyes shot out a sharp light. Looking around, the sudden change made the subordinate who was carefully reporting the information suddenly startle. He was so frightened that he knelt on the ground, his body trembling, and he didn't know why His Majesty the Pope was so angry and vain. With such a change, even Yu Guan and the ghosts guarding the throne were startled and looked at the Pope. Your Majesty. Bibi Dong did not speak, but glanced around the entire hall. Then she frowned slightly. She would definitely not mishear the voice that sounded in her mind just now. At first, she thought someone was acting presumptuously in front of her, but in the end there was nothing. She found that this made her feel very strange. Although she only has level 97 soul power now, she is confident that no one can enter her mind unknowingly, let alone not discover anything afterwards. Is it an illusion? Bibi Dong sneered. How could a strong person like her have such ridiculous hallucinations? Could it be that the voice came from gods? After all, except for the gods of the upper realm, I am afraid that no one can achieve this, not even the peak Douluo. Ding, congratulations, you have obtained Wu Xing diary. You can open the diary and check it by saying silently in your heart. At this moment, another voice sounded in her mind, exactly the same as before, and Bibi Dong was startled again. If it might have been a trance once, Bibi Dong could be very sure the second time that it came from her mind, without any sign or any fluctuation in soul power. It just appeared so suddenly. The fair and perfect face changed slightly. Bibi Dong looked at Yu Guan and Gue Mei beside her, and saw that they both looked confused, presumably unable to hear the voice. Please step back. After a moment, Bibi Dong waved his hand and said to the subordinates in the hall. Yes, Your Majesty the Pope. Everyone who was originally uneasy heard the Pope's instructions and quickly responded and left quickly. When the subordinates retreated, only Yu Guan and the ghosts were left in the entire hall. You should also step back. Bibi Dong said again. Yes, Your Majesty. Yu Guan and Gue Mei looked at each other, feeling strange in their hearts, but did not say anything. After answering respectfully, they left the hall. After everyone retreated, Bibi Dong then responded to the voice she just heard and said silently, Open the diary. In an instant, a ray of light shot out from the center of her eyebrows, and a book appeared in front of her eyes, emitting golden light and suspended in the air. Wu Xing diary. What is this? Looking at the 4 words on the book, Bibi Dong was very confused, but she still stretched out her delicate hands and started reading. F***ck, I fucking traveled through time. Looking closely at the first line of words above, Bibi Dong frowned. She clearly knew every word in the words recorded above, but she didn't know why they were connected together. What the hell? What is he meowing about? What does time travel mean? When Bibi Dong frowned and stared at this line of text, trying to understand its meaning, a golden light emerged from the font, and then reflected in her mind, making her understand instantly. After understanding the meaning of this line of words, Bibi Dong's sexy red lips opened slightly, and her face showed an expression of disbelief. Damn it, he is actually the quintessence of China from another world. And time travel refers to traveling from one world to another, just like ascending to the divine world. No. Even more magical than ascending to the divine realm. Such an unbelievable thing made Bibi Dong, who had always been calm, feel a wave of panic in her heart, mainly because it was too exaggerated. If the book hadn't been placed before her eyes, she wouldn't have believed that there was such a weird thing in the world. With curiosity, Bibi Dong continued to look down. When she saw the new word animation, she was stunned. Fortunately, it didn't take long for the annotation about this word to appear in her mind. How can it be? After understanding, Bibi Dong's eyes widened and she cried out in horror, the world she lives in is just an anime. It was created from another world. Impossible, absolutely impossible. This Pope doesn't believe it. Bibi Dong couldn't accept such a thing, and didn't believe it was so outrageous. How could she, a living person, be an anime created in another world. Not only Bibi Dong, but many people who got the diary at this time also denied it after seeing it. She is the supreme pope, and she controls the entire Wuhuan palace. How could she be disturbed by a few words from the owner of this so-called diary? With a skeptical attitude, Bibi Dong continued to read down, wanting to see what other shocking language the owner of the diary had to say. Zhutian Comprehensive Comic Diary System. Just writing a diary can get rewards. Bibi Dong's pupils shrank, and after receiving vocabulary feedback, she couldn't sit still even more. If what was said above was true, she couldn't imagine what terrifying opportunities this diary owner had. Titled Douluo. Become a god. These are simply a joke in front of the system. I have to find the owner of this diary. Bibi Dong immediately had the idea that if she could catch the other person, make good friends with him, let alone become a god and ascend to the upper world, it would not be a dream to see the vast heavens. Thinking of the vast and colorful worlds, Bibi Dong felt a surging feeling in her heart. It was an urgency that she had never felt before in a high position. Of course, this assumes all of this is true, so that remains to be determined. After calming down her inner turmoil, Bibi Dong started browsing again. When she saw the owner of the diary clearly stating the names of the many women and saying that she loved them, a chill spread across her pretty face, making the entire hall feel a little colder. I didn't expect the owner of the diary to be so frivolous, thinking about her daughter instead of talking about herself. Mother and daughter plus master and apprentice. I'm afraid I haven't tasted my own eternal creation. This guy, seeing that you are my staunch supporter, this pope will let you go for the time being. Although the owner of the diary was bold and daring, the tone of his bright eyes that spoke highly of him made Bibi Dong decide to let him go. Keep reading. When she saw the other party shouting to defeat Tang San and long live the Wuhuan palace, Bibi Dong, who was supposed to be talking about her heart, not only did not show a smile, but instead looked like she was frowning. Who is Tang San? Why do you want to defeat Tang San? Could it be? Bibi Dong felt cold in her heart. She was smart and understood from these words that this guy named Tang San might be a stumbling block for her. It seems that not only do I need to find the owner of this diary, but I also need to find Tang San. Sure enough, the next words confirmed Bibi Dong's thoughts. The owner of the diary seemed to be able to predict the future in advance. Not only did he know her plan, but he also knew that the stumbling blocks could reach the title Douluo. Could it be that the world you are in was really created? At this time, Bibi Dong felt a little shaken, but she still couldn't believe it. After all, it was just a one-sided statement. Who knows whether the other party was talking nonsense? Yueguan, ghost. Bibi Dong shouted softly towards the outside of the hall, and in an instant two figures flashed. Yuguan and Gue Mei appeared in front of her. Your Majesty, what are your orders? Yuguan and Gue Mei asked respectfully. Go down and send 3,000 elites from the palace to search for someone named Wu across the continent. Bibi Dong was about to instruct Yuguan and Gue Mei to find the guy named Wu Xing, and then ask them to respectfully invite him back. However, his eyes inadvertently saw a line at the bottom of the diary, and he chuckled in an instant, with a charming smile on his face. Smile, the Pope smiled so magnificently that Yuguan and Gue Mei, who were waiting on the side, were dumbfounded and couldn't help but look at each other. The Pope has always looked majestic in front of them since he ascended the throne. He has never smiled, let alone this knowing and sweet smile. What happened to the Pope? The two titled Douluo were lost in thought. Before, His Majesty the Pope's sudden burst of momentum in front of everyone was already very strange, but now he showed a long-lost smile. It was really unbelievable. Although Yuguan and Gue Mei were very confused, they both buried their thoughts and waited for the Pope's orders, and the reason why Bibi Dong laughed out loud was because of what the owner of the diary said above. I won't tell you my real name. I'm afraid you don't know your real name because it has already been printed on the cover of the diary. Interesting guy. Bibi Dong chuckled for a while, then suddenly noticed something, and her smiling face instantly calmed down, returning to its former majesty. He actually inadvertently smiled like a woman in front of his subordinates, which ruined his image over the years. It's all this guy Wu Xing's fault. Bibi Dong couldn't help but let out a cry in her heart. as if she thought of something, she immediately said, "You can see what's in front of me." Chapter 3 Shrek 3 Beauties. You are listening at Mtlnovel Audio. Soto City, Shrek Academy, Shrek's 3 beauties, who were about to go to Tiandou Royal Academy, were gathering together at this moment, with extremely surprised expressions on their faces. Xiao Wu, Zhu Qing, have you all obtained a copy of the diary? Faced with the prompt that suddenly appeared in her mind, Ning Rongrong hurriedly found Xiao Wu and Zhu Qing and asked without explanation. Do you have one too? Upon hearing this, Xiao Wu's eyes were full of surprise. She was wandering around the academy with Tang San just now, enjoying the last moments before leaving. The sudden voice in her mind frightened her, and she quickly wanted to tell Tang San what she had encountered, but she found that she couldn't speak, as if there were some rules that restricted her from telling others about her diary. Not only that, she followed the voice in her mind and opened the diary. The books were clearly floating in front of her eyes, but the third brother next to her seemed invisible and looked incomprehensible. Seeing Rongrong find her now and casually telling her about the diary, how could she not be surprised? Yes. Ning Rongrong nodded repeatedly, then opened the diary with a thought in her mind, and said, I'm here, can you see it? After saying that, Ning Rongrong looked at Xiao Wu and Zhu Qing expectantly. You can see it. Looking at the diary floating in front of Ning Rongrong, Xiao Wu nodded, and then opened her own diary. Zhu Qing, who was silent on the side, muttered something silently in his mind when he saw both women opening their diaries. In an instant, 3 books emitting golden light appeared in front of him. Sure enough, you do too. Ning Rongrong covered her mouth and exclaimed. You have everything, Rongrong, what are you talking about? After Ning Rongrong exclaimed, a voice came from behind her. Oscar ran up to ask curiously, and behind him were Tang San, Dai Mubai, and Ma Hongjun walking towards this side. Oscar, can you please stop making such a fuss? Ning Rongrong, who was startled when Oscar suddenly came out, frowned and said angrily, I had been frightened by the voice in my head just now, and now I was shouted from behind by Oscar, which made me angry. Seeing Rongrong's serious face, Oscar quickly scratched his head with a smile and replied apologetically, Rongrong, I'm sorry. Point 1 Look at Oscar's expression and apologetic words, and there is no doubt that he is a licker. While Oscar was apologizing again and again, Tang San and the others also came to the scene. Seeing the weird look of the 3 girls raising their hands, they couldn't help but ask, Xiao Wu, what's wrong with you? He had noticed something wrong when he and Xiao Wu were wandering around before, and now he saw the same thing happening with Ning Rongrong and Zhu Qing, and he became even more curious. Third brother, can't you see? Ning Rongrong asked after hearing this. What is it? Can't you see anything? Tang San looked blankly at Ning Rongrong's empty hands, which seemed to be holding something for him to see, with a puzzled look on his face. It's just. Ning Rongrong wanted to answer, but a rule hit her soul and she couldn't say anything. Rongrong, what are you talking about? At this time, Dai Mubai also looked at Ning Rongrong's actions suspiciously. No. It's nothing. Ning Rongrong thought that this was indeed the case. He shook his head and said, we are talking about girls' private matters. You grown men should not join in the fun. Several people were confused, and Tang San looked at Xiao Wu subconsciously, as if to confirm whether this was the case. Seeing third brother looking over, Xiao Wu's face turned slightly red, and then said, well, third brother, we are talking about girls' private matters, please don't disturb us yet. Tang San said this when he saw Xiao Wu, and a hint of embarrassment appeared on his face. After saying this, he left with Dai Mubai and others. Although Xiao Wu and Rongrong's actions were very suspicious, since the 2 women had said so and clearly didn't want them to participate, they naturally couldn't stay here shamelessly. It seems that except for us, third brother and the others can't see this diary. Ning Rongrong said after Tang San and others left. Yeah. Xiao Wu nodded, agreeing with Ning Rongrong's view, and said, I just don't know if what this guy named Wu Xing said is true. It shouldn't be possible. There is no such magical thing in the world. The one who spoke was Zhu Qing. She always said little and was full of doubts about the things in the diary, not to mention traveling from this world to another. They are still characters living in the anime. Just saying that he, Xiao Wu, Rongrong can reach the level of title Douluo in the future is outrageous. Title Douluo, that is an existence that is out of reach. There are only a few people in the entire continent who can reach this level. Can they do it in the future? Although they are very talented, how can it be so easy to become a title Douluo? Otherwise, there would not be so many soul masters in the whole continent, only a few, and among those title Douluo, which one is not a genius among geniuses? But if it's not true, why did we get this diary, and why can only we see it? Xiao Wu raised her own question. She was also very suspicious of the diary that suddenly appeared in her mind, especially when Wu Xing said that the third brother had double standards. She understood this word and was a little angry. Why did she say that to the third brother? Although I don't know if this is nonsense, this Wu Xing is definitely not a good person and a pervert. Ning Rongrong was indignant. Let's not mention anything else for the moment, but the frivolity in the other party's words made her very unhappy. The more it means to win their favor, the more the better. None of them are little beauties, but they actually want it all. What a joke. Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing's expressions changed slightly when they heard Ning Rongrong's words. After reading the diary, they naturally knew that this guy named Wu Xing not only molested the three beauties of Wuhuan Palace, but also molested them. Say you love them, how could such a person make them like him? Not to mention gaining your own favor. Of course, this is not the most important thing. The most important thing is that the other party actually ranked them behind the three beauties of Wuhuan Palace. Well, even if they are still young, they will feel a little emotional about sitting in the back row without ever meeting each other. Okay, let's not talk about this. Don't we want to verify whether the diary is true? What he said at the end is that we also have rewards for checking in and signing in. We will find out if we try it. For a moment, Ning Rongrong thought of something, and then with Xiao Wu Zhu Zhuqing said, just now, I was only focused on being surprised and eager to find the two women for verification. I haven't explored the diary function that the other party mentioned. Yes. After hearing this, Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing nodded, and then opened the diary page to look for the check-in and sign-in stuff that Wu Xing said. When faced with such a novel and incredible diary, it might take a lot of effort for one person to find these so-called diary functions, but with three people exploring together, it was much faster and they quickly found the settings Wu Xing mentioned. Ding, check-in successfully. Congratulations on getting 2x Soul Power Training Card X1, 1 day, Ning Rongrong. Ding, check-in successfully. Congratulations on getting 3x Soul Power Training Card X1, 1 day, Xiao Wu. Ding, check-in successfully. Congratulations on getting the perfect 10,000-year Soul Ring X1. Zhu Zhuqing. The new book set sail for collection in comments. Chapter 4 Diary Reward. You are listening at Mtlnovel Aud. What is this? Ning Rongrong took out the training card from the diary package and looked at the small golden card in her hand, confused. It seems to be something that speeds up the cultivation of soul power. There is a note in the diary. Xiao Wu also had a card in his hand and looked at it carefully. Soul Power Training Card, a card that can speed up the Soul Master's training. Just use it silently in your mind. It cannot be traded to others for the time being. The diary system needs to be upgraded to level 3 before it can be traded with any life that also has a copy of the diary. After understanding the function of the training card, Ning Rongrong's eyes widened instantly. If it is true as mentioned above, then for a soul master, it is definitely an item that can only be found but not sought. After being surprised, Ning Rongrong didn't think much and immediately used this card to circulate the soul power in her body. In an instant, she felt that her soul power was being absorbed twice as fast as usual. It's actually true. Ning Rongrong said in disbelief as he felt the increase in soul power in his body. When Xiao Wu and Zhu Zhuqing heard this, they were also excited and said, Rongrong, can that thing really speed up the absorption of soul power? Well, it's twice as fast as usual. Ning Rongrong nodded affirmatively. After getting confirmation, the women looked at each other, and a thought arose in their minds, could this diary be true? No nonsense. Hey, Zhu Qing, where is your reward? Why didn't you take it out? After the shock, Xiao Wu looked at Zhu Qing and asked. Hearing this, Zhu Qing shook his head and said, the rewards I received cannot be taken out yet. I need my soul power to reach level 40. What kind of reward requires soul power level 40 to be taken out? Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong asked curiously. The two women now believed most of the content described in the diary. A perfect 10,000-year soul ring. Zhu Qing replied, and then explained to the two women in detail what perfection was. After hearing Zhu Qing's explanation, Xiao Wu and Ning Rongrong were both stunned. It took a long time for Ning Rongrong to say, Zhu Qing, you must be so lucky, that she didn't expect that among the three, she would have the worst luck. She only got a 2x soul power training card, Xiao Wu got a 3x soul power training card, and Zhu Qing even got a perfect year soul ring. Doesn't this mean that when Zhu Qing's soul power reaches level 40, he can absorb this soul ring for his own use? The soul sect has a black 10,000-year soul ring. Such a thing is unheard of. Xiao Wu on the side, after coming back to her senses, had a different idea. Her eyes shone a little. If there was such a soul ring reward, wouldn't everyone no longer have to kill soul beasts to obtain soul rings? As a soul beast, the last thing she wants to see is for humans to kill soul beasts and seize their soul rings. As for whether the perfect soul ring was real, she had no doubts. Rongrong had already proven that the training card was real, so how could he deceive them about the soul ring? It's okay. Looking at Rongrong's envious eyes, Zhu Qing replied with a slight blush. She also didn't expect that she would be so lucky to obtain such a precious item. Ding, congratulations to the World of Youth song, Shuyu's sword Immortally Hani has obtained a realm improvement card. Golden Legend, a diary holder is randomly selected to obtain it every day. While the three girls were marveling at the perfect soul rings, a golden banner swept across the book panel, occupying most of the area. What's the situation? The three women looked at it subconsciously, and when they learned about the reward through the notes, they were all shocked. Realm Improvement Card, use it to improve your current realm. For example, your current world level 35 Soul Master can be directly upgraded to level 45 Soul Master. I originally thought that Zhu Qing was lucky enough, but I didn't expect that the person above was even more exaggerated. Ning Rongrong said with envy. Fortunately, the person who received the reward was not in the same world as them, otherwise he might have died of jealousy. I don't know how many people have copies of the diary. If there are fewer people, according to the diary function, she also has a chance to get such a reward. Of course, this thought only passed by in a flash. Now she wants to find the owner of the diary even more. She must know that the other person is in her world. As the daughter of the Qibao Glazed sect, she has been exposed to it since childhood, and her mind is much more active than ordinary people. Since the diary system can select that Wu Xing, it is not easy to think about it. If it can win the Qibao Glazed sect, it will definitely be a step up for the entire sect. Even if the other party's words have the meaning of longing for a beautiful woman, it doesn't matter. Just marry him. There are many people who think like Ning Rongrong. After understanding the power of the diary, Wu Xing is their first target. After all, I am the owner of the diary. They are just following behind to get some light. Of course, not everyone will think so, and some women who are relatively indifferent by nature will not have this idea. Don't be envious, Rongrong, you are using the 2x training card now, don't waste it. After sighing, Xiao Wu thought that the training card was only for one day, and immediately said to Ning Rongrong. Yes. Ning Rongrong nodded and said, Xiao Wu, what about you? Don't you want to use it now? I'll do it later. Xiao Wu shook her head. Rongrong's had already been used, which seemed a bit hasty, but hers could be used when there was enough time. Okay, I'll go back to the room first. Ning Rongrong responded. She also knew that this training card was rare, and she didn't know if it would be available tomorrow, so she couldn't waste it. Not mentioning what happened with Shrek's three beauties, in the Tiandou Empire Palace, Qian Renshua probably understood the matter of the copy of the diary at this moment, and immediately sent someone to contact Wuhuan Palace to confirm the authenticity of the above and whether it was that woman. I also got this diary like myself. Is this world really created by another world? Qian Renxue, who transformed into Xue Qinghe, watched the subordinates who ordered him leave and slowly came to the window, looking into the distance. At first, she was very surprised when she got this diary. After reading it, she was even more skeptical, but after careful exploration, she now believed most of it, because she also received a reward for signing in from the system. Slowly reaching out her hand, a golden card floated in her palm. Looking slowly, he saw something clearly visible above: Martial Spirit Fragment X1, Martial Spirit Fragments. Collect 10 fragments to get an additional random martial spirit. Trading of this item is prohibited. Obtaining an extra martial soul caused huge waves in her heart even though she was extremely well educated. However, she knew that the woman was the twin martial soul. Gently holding her hand, the golden card returned to the diary warehouse in Qian Renshue's mind. Scanning the dazzling scrolling banner, Qian Renxue murmured, "The world of young Song Xing. Except for the soaring, are there actually so many worlds in the God realm? Wu Xing, I am looking forward to the day when we meet." According to Qian Renshue's past style, if such a person appeared, she would definitely launch her forces across the continent to search for Wu Xing. However, after seeing the other party's persuasion in her diary, she chose to follow his wishes and leave a good impression. As a master with a diary system, it would be easy for her to become powerful. She just needs to wait quietly for the other party to come to her. Chapter 5: The Heaven-Defying Martial Spirit. You are listening at Mtlnovel Aud. While many women were groping for copies of the diary, Wu Xing didn't know how long he had been walking, and he didn't know if he could find a gathering place of humans in this direction. Seeing that the sky was about to darken, there were still towering towers everywhere around him. His galloping steps slowly slowed down. It seems that we can only sleep in the wild tonight. Wu Xing looked around and sighed helplessly. He could not continue walking. He had to recharge his batteries, otherwise he would probably encounter life danger. Along the way, he understood that his current location was probably in the Soul Beast Forest. After all, he had already encountered no less than 2 digits of soul beasts. Whenever he encountered them, he would either avoid them or take a detour to avoid conflicts, but if he was really being targeted and couldn't get rid of them, he could only fight hard. Fortunately, these soul beasts were not very strong, so he could easily deal with them. But even so, he couldn't risk his life and rush on the road at night. What's more, he had been on the road continuously. He had not eaten any food or water during the day, and his stomach began to grow hungry. If he didn't stop to rest, and if he didn't have enough physical strength to walk out of the forest, he would probably starve to death. This diary system couldn't find a better place to send me here. Wu Xing complained, and after expressing his dissatisfaction, he looked for a campsite that was more suitable for camping. Carefully exploring the surroundings, Wu Xing originally planned to find a source of water, first satisfy his burning thirst, and then hunt a few small animals to fill his stomach. But just as he was slowly approaching in one direction, a green mist suddenly appeared in front of him, which seemed to envelop the surrounding environment, causing him to stop approaching. What is this? Looking at it, Wu Xing frowned when he saw a large forest filled with green mist. Obviously, there might be something fishy inside. The green mist was used to prevent other things from intruding. The reason why he judged this was because there were some animal bones on the ground around him. The green mist is poisonous. Wu Xing's eyes became a little more solemn, but he began to think in his heart, should he go in and take a look? He didn't know whether the poisonous mist was created naturally or man-made. If it was natural, according to his understanding of the Douluo anime, there should be some treasure in it. If it was man-made, it should be because the owner who created the poisonous mist didn't want it. Someone is approaching. After thinking about it again and again, Wu Xing decided to give it a try. He didn't care too much about the baby, he preferred it to be human factors, so that he could better understand his current position. As for whether he would offend the owner of this place, Wu Xing also had his own considerations. With his familiarity with the plot, it should be easy to fool some aboriginal people. After all, he still knows how to use the banner to make a tiger skin. Of course, except for ferocious soul beasts, then only the 36 strategy is the best strategy. Thinking of this, Wu Xing surged with soul power without hesitation, and a black halo suddenly appeared under his feet. It was a 10,000-year soul ring. If any soul master saw him at this time, their jaws would probably be blinded. The man in front of him only had one soul ring, and it was a black 10,000-year soul ring. The first soul skill, Blue Wave Water Curtain. With a soft groan, a transparent fish spirit appeared behind Wu Xing. As the 10,000-year spirit ring flickered, a curtain of water poured down, enveloping his entire body in it, just like in his previous life. We often see the magic shield of the mage in the Yi Dao 999 game. Surrounded by the water curtain, Wu Xing did not rush into the poisonous mist, but groaned softly again. The first soul skill, Flame Shield. As soon as the sound came out, the fish spirit behind Wu Xing suddenly distorted, and then turned into the image of a spirit beast spitting lava. Under the flicker of the 10,000-year spirit ring, another layer of shield was added to Wu Xing. The sight displayed on Wu Xing's body now is enough to make any soul master in the mainland confused. How come different martial souls appear on this guy's body? Wu Xing was already familiar with the changes in his martial soul. He had noticed this when he fought the soul beast before, which made him extremely happy. My original heart is simply unbelievable. Not only can I use any corresponding first soul skill, I can also create an illusion for the soul master and even hide my own trump card. He can just say what kind of martial spirit he is, and then use that martial spirit's soul skill. Just imagine, when he meets that double standard Tang San, he can disguise his martial soul as the Blue Silver Emperor, your first soul skill. Entanglement, I am also entangled, but mine is still the entanglement of the 10,000-year soul ring. With the blessing of the age of the soul ring, the power is even more powerful. You use the clear sky hammer, and I will also use the clear sky hammer to make the other party doubt his life. Think about it, the picture is not too beautiful. He can't help but torture Tang San, who talks about you having a way to kill him all day long. After releasing the flame shield, Wu Xing did not feel safe, so he continued to release a few more soul skills. Without exception, they were all defensive soul skills. Without exception, the martial arts were also constantly changing. There was no way, but with great difficulty after traveling to Douluo Continent, he unfortunately died. At first glance, Wu Xing, who was well protected, saw that his entire body was radiating a colorful light, dazzling, like the gorgeous special effects only possessed by Krypton Gold bosses in the game. With the blessing of several defensive soul skills, Wu Xing carefully approached the poisonous mist, and found that the poisonous mist could not penetrate his tightly wrapped body, so he walked boldly and quickly inside. The thickness of the fog was about 10 meters, and Wu Xing quickly got through it. The scenery in front of him made him light up slightly. The surrounding trees were much rarer than outside, and his line of sight was greatly broadened. He could only see something in the distance. There is a hint of a crater-like mountain top. Seeing this scene, Wu Xing felt that the scenery was a bit familiar. After thinking about it for a while, combined with the permeating poisonous mist, an idea flashed in his mind. Could it be that this is the Sunset Forest, with the Eye of Ice and Fire at the top of the mountain and below the crater? The thought flashed across his mind, and Wu Xing felt a little excited. In order to verify his guess, he quickly ran towards the top of the mountain in the distance. When he reached the top of the mountain and looked down, Wu Xing was very excited. He suddenly saw a hot spring divided into two colors like Tai Chi in the center of the crater. It's really the Eyes of Ice and Fire. Wu Xing quickly jumped down the steep stone wall and walked all the way towards the center. As he got closer to the Ice and Fire Eye, his eyes became brighter and brighter because there were blooming fairy grass everywhere around him. In this way, at this point in time, Tang San had not been captured by De Gubo. I want this opportunity. Wu Xing laughed in his heart. He was indescribably happy at this moment. Although he had a diary system and he didn't care much about the fairy grass, he would be very happy if he could intercept Hu Tang San. Please vote and collect. If you like this book, you can leave a comment. These are the author's motivation for coding. In addition, it is important to mention that in the Soul Master competition in the anime, there are several 40-level and 4-level soul sects, so there is no setting for absorbing soul power to enhance the soul ring. Just like Xiao Wu's mother was not killed by Bibi Dong in the original novel, but was in the anime. Chapter 6 Taking the Blame 3. You are listening at Mtlnovel Audio. Good morning, beauties, have you missed me? I guess you must want to. Wu Xing was very energetic after a night's rest. He didn't expect that he didn't suffer from insomnia due to time travel. After happily collecting all the jelly grass around the ice and fire eyes into the diary warehouse, he opened the diary and started writing happily. When Wu Xing finished writing the first line, beauties in various places and worlds who held copies of the diary all received the prompt immediately. Many beauties were originally very interested in Wu Xing. After hearing the prompt in their minds, they opened their own copies of the diary. However, when they saw the first line in the diary, they all pouted, "This guy is really shameless, he is so narcissistic." Although what the other party said was correct, what they wanted to describe to the other party did not mean the same thing at all. After secretly sighing, the girls looked down. They could see that the owner of the diary must be very happy at the moment. "You definitely don't know what kind of rewards I got, I'll scare you if I tell you." "What reward? What reward did this guy get that made him so happy?" In Shrek Academy, Xiao Wu tilted her head, feeling very curious. In Wuhuan Hall, Pope Bibi Dong was sitting in front of the dressing table, carefully reading through the diary recorded by Wu Xing today. Seeing the other party's show-off tone, he smiled slightly. Such a man is very easy to control at first glance, without any trace. The city government, this is good news for Bibi Dong. As long as she sees the other party, she has enough confidence to make the other party willing to do things for her. As for the rewards that Wu Xing said could scare her, Bibi Dong was not too reassured. Judging from yesterday's diary check-in, the rewards she received, and the rewards Nana received, although they are all rare, they are rare items, but not so exaggerated. Could they frighten her as a level 97 titled Douluo? Even the realm card obtained by the woman named Shuyu's sword immortally Hani in the so-called youth song world did not scare her. At least she was a little surprised. With this thought in mind, Bibi Dong looked down happily, but the next second she realized that she was wrong, and she was very wrong. "Hey, what I got yesterday was a heaven-defying martial spirit, but I won't reveal the information about this martial spirit to you, so as not to worry you. But one thing I can tell you is that the martial soul I obtained comes with level 30 innate soul power. How about it, did it scare you?" Haha. What? Innate soul power level 30. How can it be? Seeing the level 30 innate soul power, women from other worlds did not react much. After all, the cultivation systems between the two are different, but the same is not true for the women of Douluo Continent. It is like throwing a message into their minds. Heavy bomb. Even the few women who knew that the innate soul power was not only level 10 also had their eyes widened in disbelief. Innate soul power level 30. Isn't the highest level only 10? Why is there level 30? Ning Rongrong, Bai Qinxiang, Shui Binger, Huo Wu and others who were looking at the diary were all shocked. They had practiced hard and accumulated over many days and months before they reached the level of Soul Master. Looking at each other again, awakening is level 30 soul power. Isn't this cheating? Diary system, I want to report that someone is cheating. Oh, it turns out he is the owner of the diary, so that's okay. Bibi Dong, Qian Renxue, and Bo Saishi who were far away on Poseidon Island were also horrified at this time. Only those who understand can understand the concept of level 30 innate soul power. Take a soul master with level 10 innate soul power and a soul master with level 9 innate soul power. Although the difference between the two is one level, as time goes by, the gap will become smaller. It gets bigger and bigger, and the final achievement is even more different. A soul master with an innate soul power of level 10, as long as he practices step by step, there is basically no problem in reaching the soul saint in his lifetime. It is not impossible for a better soul Douluo or even a title Douluo, but if you are only a soul master with level 9 innate soul power, it will be difficult to reach the soul emperor. This can show how big the gap is in innate soul power and where the talent lies. As for Qianrenxue, who has reached level 20 with her innate soul power as soon as she awakens, everyone knows that reaching title Douluo is a sure thing. It is just a matter of time. If nothing happens, it will be a peak Douluo, and she can even hit the divine examination and ascend to the top. Boundary, what does Wu Xing's innate soul power level 30 mean now? It means that he can easily reach title Douluo, it means that it won't take long for him to catch up with them, and it means that the other party will definitely be able to ascend to the upper realm. No wonder you said that, it's really amazing. Qianrenxue sighed softly while sitting at the table in the study. She didn't feel jealous because Wu Xing's innate soul power exceeded hers at level 30. On the contrary, she was looking forward to the day when she would meet Wu Xing. I'm afraid this day wouldn't take long. In addition to the rewards from Emperor O's diary, I didn't expect to be so lucky. I got some extra treasures. These treasures may not be that important to me, but they are definitely treasures for you. Guess what they are? Well, it's some fairy grass, good stuff that can strengthen the foundation, raise the soul level, and evolve the martial soul. Do you think it's amazing? Actually, I also think it's amazing. You don't know what fairy grass is. Not even a few title Douluo understand the magical effects of fairy grass. You got double standard Tang San for nothing. It's outrageous. You opened the door to outrageous things. It's outrageous. I even wonder if your skill tree is wrong or if you have been collectively brainwashed. Otherwise, how could such a good thing not even be understood by title Douluo? I am not talking nonsense, but I have evidence. Because the majestic poison Douluo Dugu Bakong has a treasure mountain without knowing it, he should really pull him out and play his penis 100 times. It is so embarrassing for the title Douluo. He has no experience. Not as tall as any of the grandchildren. Dugu Yen, are you reading your diary? If you are reading this, please ignore the second half of my sentence above. In the Tiandou Royal Academy, Dugu Yen, who was taking morning theory classes but peeking at his diary, saw this and subconsciously slapped the table with his hand. He stood up and cursed angrily. Asshole, that the sudden roar frightened the instructor who was holding a textbook on the podium, and the book fell to the ground. The students who listened carefully were barely frightened and fell from their chairs to the ground. The students who were close to Dugu Yen even had their eardrums shattered. Classmate Dugu Yen. Do you think there is anything wrong with what the instructor said? The instructor, who had calmed down, looked at Dugu Yen with a displeased expression, and said in a slightly angry tone, if you really think there is something wrong with what the teacher said, you can mention it directly. Come out instead of swearing. Ah. Hearing the teacher yelling angrily, Dugu Yen realized it at this moment, and explained with a red face, then, that old, teacher, I'm not scolding you, I'm. Curse, swear. Due to nervousness and the copy of the diary, Dugu Yen was speechless for a moment, but looking at the teacher's suspicious eyes, he finally gritted his teeth and said, Teacher, I am scolding Tang San. Well, it's Tang San. Tang San. Chapter 7 Inventory of Double Standard Tang 3. You are listening at novelfold.audio. Grass jelly. What ambrosia? Can those fairy grasses increase the level of soul power? Can the martial soul be evolved? When many Douluo women heard Wu Xing's explanation, their eyes shone with eager expressions. Even Bibi Dong was no exception. Is there such a genius in the world? She doesn't know. According to Wu Xing, if the effectiveness of the fairy grass is real, its value is absolutely immeasurable, but now these fairy grasses all belong to me, I can't take advantage of that double standard dog Tang San. Speaking of Tang San's double standard dog, Beauty Donger, you have to thank me properly, preferably with your own body, because I can solve the huge trouble for you. Without the assistance of fairy grass, Tang San can't say anything else, but at least he didn't grow up so quickly. You may be wondering why I, a time traveler who has just arrived in Douluo Continent and is unfamiliar with the place, would be so malicious towards Tang San. Let me tell you, this guy is just a sanctimonious villain. Perhaps, Shrek Sanmei, you are very angry when you see this, especially Xiao Wu who has been with Tang San for so long, but I still want to say that I did not slander him. This guy, in my original world, was a street rat, a being that everyone yelled at to beat him up. As a child of luck, the things he did were shameful. Before he time traveled, he was a thief, stealing the secret scrolls of the sect. After time traveling, he said one thing and said some awe-inspiring words, but behind his back, he said another thing. He would do whatever it took to steal. Furthermore, this person has a ruthless character, will retaliate for all his anger, and has the ultimate double standards. Whatever he likes, he is right no matter what he does, and whatever he doesn't like, even things that everyone takes for granted, is wrong. For example, when it comes to killing soul beasts to obtain soul rings, he said that the soul beasts he killed were all vicious people, but when he restored his blue silver grass soul ring, he killed no one knows how many, even just to get a few. The soul bone went on a killing spree, and it was a joy to kill in front of Xiao Wu. He is an upright person by obtaining soul bones, but it is not okay for Wuhuan Palace to do so. Isn't this an obvious double standard? What's more, he has the final say whether the soul beast is good or bad. Soul beasts are naturally predators of the weak and the strong. They are also trying to survive. They are really evil in the end. Then why do you eat meat? Those small vegetarian animals haven't hurt you, right? You use them as food. This is just one of them. Besides, it's okay for me to hurt this guy, but it's not okay for you to hit my person. There is no such truth in the world, right? There are too many. I don't want to give examples one by one, lest anyone say that my villain's heart is entirely his behavior. It is really hard for me to stand. It's okay if you don't say it. Everyone is the same, but you are both a bitch and a memorial arch, which is purely disgusting. Okay, let's not talk about this disgusting guy, let's get back to the topic. If you want these jelly herbs, you can buy them from me when we meet later, and I will sell them to you. Of course, each person can only sell one plant. More is not allowed. After all, everyone is my pen pal, so we can't favor one over the other. I won't sell it too expensively. The friendly price is 100,000 gold coins. Don't think this price is expensive. In the anime, this fairy grass can evolve the martial spirit, and it can evolve the 7 treasure glazed spirit into the 9 treasure glazed spirit. Ning Fengji is willing to spend 1 million to buy it, but I'm already broke. It doesn't matter if you don't have money. If you support me, I will give you one for free, hee. Bah, this scumbag, a big pervert. Seeing all the women here, they all let out a loud sigh. This guy is really a thoughtful animal, and he never leaves women. However, compared to Tang San's double standards, the owners of the diary in front of them were still very magnanimous. At least they seemed to be very gentlemen, and it was much better to be a gentleman on the surface but with dirty thoughts behind their backs. At this moment, many women who had copies of the diary remembered Tang San and felt a sense of disgust towards him. At this time, the expressions of Xiao Wu, Ning Rongrong, and Zhu Zhuqing from Shrek Academy all changed when they saw this, especially Xiao Wu, who had an unforgettable feeling. Is third brother really such a person? When Xiao Wu's face turned pale as she thought about Tang San's behavior, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing looked at her carefully, not knowing how to comfort her. They all knew that Xiao Wu had the best relationship with Tang San, and it must be very uncomfortable for the owner of the diary to expose such a thing. To be honest, they still have a good impression of Tang San, and their normal behavior is also very decent. If the diary copy hadn't revealed the other party's double standard, maybe we would have been best friends and teammates in the future. But now, because of Wu Xing's diary description, both women couldn't help but start to doubt. Could it be that they were hiding themselves? Although the few words in the diary did not affect their judgment, they unknowingly planted a seed of vigilance. After all, they have never met each other, and there is no need to use the diary to slander the other party. What good does this do to him? Tang San didn't know that his image in the hearts of Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing had become a bit shattered. If he had known about it, he would definitely have said, Wu Xing, you already have a way to die. Xiao Wu had been getting along with Tang San for the longest time. Scenes of her experiences emerged from her mind. She didn't think anything of it before. As the saying goes, those in authority are confused and bystanders are clear. Under Wu Xing's exaggeration, she realized that some of them were just like the other party. Said, I remember the first time I participated in a two-player competition in the soul fighting arena, I met an opponent who was a twin. It seemed that I actually hurt one of the opponents. The third brother said not to be so harsh, but when I was accidentally injured by the opponent, I became furious. He did not hesitate to use hidden weapons and almost killed the two people directly. When he finally learned that he was fine, he changed his face again and praised his opponents like a gentleman. Thinking of this, her face turned even paler, and her whole body began to shake slightly. Xiao Wu, don't worry about it. Who knows if that guy said it on purpose to sow discord between you and Tang. Third brother. Seeing Xiao Wu's trembling body, Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing stood aside. After looking at each other, they quickly offered words of comfort. Hearing Ning Rongrong and Zhu Zhuqing's comfort, Xiao Wu turned around and shook her head with a wry smile, but didn't say anything. She could judge by herself, but the more she judged, the more she felt it was like what the owner of the diary said, so she behaved like this. If it didn't match at all, she would have been angry and scolded that guy Wu Xing. In addition to Shrek's three beauties, there is another woman who has a copy of the diary. Her mood is even more difficult to calm down. Her beautiful face has no color at all. She is Awaken in the Pure Land world. Sanner, he came from another world. So, he is not his son. His original son was taken away by the other party and inherited his body. Or was he replaced by another thief who violated the religious rules? At this moment, even Awaken, who had always been calm and pure, couldn't accept it. Chapter 8 Tiandou Royal Academy Team 2. You are listening at Mtlnovel Audio. Through this fairy grass, I already know where I am. If nothing unexpected happens next, I should be able to leave here and find the gathering place of humans soon. I don't know who of you will be the first person I meet when I find a human gathering place. I'm still looking forward to it. However, for the sake of my safety, I will not expose myself for the time being, so you don't need to get too excited. Bah, this guy, who is so excited, he really thinks he is Zhang Momo. Seeing Wu Xing's changing tone of teasing, the girls made another duplicitous statement. Well, according to what this guy said about the effectiveness of the fairy grass, the other party is indeed Zhang Momo. They are very jealous. After all, it is a natural and earthly treasure that can greatly increase the soul power level and even evolve the martial soul. Who wouldn't be tempted? Okay, I'll just write my diary here. I don't know what good things I will get today. The beauties lend me a little luck and allow me to be possessed by the European Emperor again, so we can meet each other sooner. See you tomorrow, I love you, haha. After Wu Xing wrote the last sentence, he took back the panel with a happy face, feeling indescribably happy in his heart. These days are really good. You can get rewards for writing diaries, and you can also tease those beauties. Thinking of them looking at the diaries, Wu Xing found the look of big eyes staring at small eyes very interesting. This diary system thought that he didn't know its tricks. He had read diary novels ranging from 1000 to 800. He wanted to dig a hole for him, but there was no way. With a proud mood, Wu Xingtong said, System, collect the reward. Ding! It is detected that the host has completed a diary and will receive a reward of 1 year perfect soul ring X, okay? That's it. After hearing the reward given by the system, Wu Xing waited for a long time, but when there was no sound from the system, he was instantly stunned. Does the perfect soul ring of 20,000 years smell fragrant? It smelled very good, but compared with yesterday's reward, it was a world of difference, so he was naturally very disappointed. Could it be that the system thinks that it has received too much fairy grass, so the rewards are perfunctory? Wu Xing greeted the system in his heart, but unfortunately he didn't get any response, so he had no choice but to give up. It takes 20,000 years to perfect the soul ring. It just so happens that I can use it now. Seeing that the system did not respond, Wu Xing helplessly began to absorb the soul ring. The perfect soul ring is indeed a perfect soul ring. It is absorbed very quickly, and it is absorbed in the blink of an eye. Looking at the second soul ring emitting black light that appeared under his feet, Wu Xing felt a little high-spirited. He was probably the only soul master to start with a 10,000-year soul ring, right? After gathering his thoughts, Wu Xing walked down the mountain, passed through the thick poisonous mist, and then galloped away in one direction. With the second soul ring, his strength has improved a lot. While his safety has improved again, his speed has also become much faster. However, he originally thought that he could walk out of the sunset forest quickly, but he didn't in the next 2 days. Finding a way out made him very crazy, and he complained a lot of bitterness to the beauties in his diary copy. Without any map, in this huge forest, even if you know a certain direction, it is very difficult to get out. If I had known earlier, I would have just stayed at the Binghua Lianjian and waited for Douluo Bo to come in. After traveling for a long time, Wu Xing stopped to take a rest and complained a few words before he could, but now he was asked to return the same way, and he was unwilling to do so. Just when Wu Xing was considering whether to walk all the way to the dark or return the way he came, a series of soft sounds suddenly came from a distance, causing him to stand up from the ground suddenly. After listening carefully for a while, his face suddenly became ecstatic. Although the voice was very soft and far away, it was obviously the sound of fighting, even vaguely mixed with shouts. Someone. Wu Xing shouted happily, and immediately rushed towards the source of the sound without any hesitation. As the sound got louder and louder, Wu Xing became more and more happy. He heard it right. It was indeed the sound of fighting. When he got closer, he burst into tears. It's not easy, it's not easy. It took him 3 whole days to come to this world, and it took him 3 full days to see the same kind of people. You can imagine how he felt at the moment. Wu Xing, who came to the fighting place, saw the scene in front of him and immediately stood aside quietly. This was a small team. It should be a teacher from some academy who brought his students to Sunset Forest to hunt soul beasts and obtain soul rings. As for why he thinks so, it's just because these people are all wearing uniform clothes, and even the man standing aside who looks a bit older can see the clues because he is also wearing similar clothes. When Wu Xing arrived, the middle-aged man on the side who did not take any action noticed it immediately. He frowned slightly and at the same time, his eyes scanned Wu Xing sharply. He didn't seem to feel the threat from him, so he didn't say anything. What? Then he looked back at the students in the battle. In the field is a huge wood-type soul beast that looks like a plant. 6 students wearing the same clothes are seriously fighting with it. Various soul skills are blasting at the soul beast in an endless stream. The beaten spirit beast retreated step by step. Obviously, it is only a matter of time before the soul beast loses. Among the 6 students, there were 5 men and 5 women, but there was only 1 woman. Wu Xing did not say anything to disturb them, and just watched quietly, but as the battle progressed, Wu Xing gradually fell into deep thought as he looked at the female student. Don't get me wrong, he was not motivated by sex. Although the female student was very beautiful, probably in her early 20s, she looked like a royal lady. It fits his aesthetic, but it's not because of this. He felt that this beautiful student looked a bit familiar, as if he had seen her in anime. The second soul skill, the lingering sound of the piano. The female student snorted softly, and then the second yellow soul ring on her body flashed with a bright light, and then enveloped the team members. In an instant, the other 5 teammates emitted a shallow light. Is her, looking at the Yao Qin held in the female student's hand and the way she used her soul skills, Wu Xing suddenly thought of something. No wonder it gave him a familiar feeling. It turned out that these people were from the Tiandou Royal Academy. That's right, they are the students from Tiandou Royal Academy, members of the second team who were eliminated by Shrek Academy in 1 minute in the anime. I didn't expect to be so lucky that I actually met the supporting cast in the plot. Wu Xing secretly said to himself that he was very lucky. First he broke into the Ice and Fire Eyes, and now he met a student from the Tiandou Royal Academy. When he was watching the anime, he felt particularly sorry for the female auxiliary piano player of the Tiandou team too. Who made him a man with a sincere heart. Although in his eyes, appearance does not necessarily represent justice, but it still does. Not much different, regardless of her appearance or figure, this female violinist was in his heart. Although she only showed her face for a minute, she was remembered in his heart, so he felt a familiar feeling. Excuse me, does anyone watch it? Chapter 9 Understanding. You are listening at Mtlnovel Audio. With the blessing of the female auxiliary soul master's piano sound, the students of Tiandou Team 2 received various attribute bonuses. The soul beasts that were already dying fell to the ground soon after. The soul beast fell, and the middle-aged teacher ordered one of the students to absorb the soul ring on the spot. Then he slowly looked at Wu Xing and asked unceremoniously, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" That it is not unusual to meet other soul masters in the soul beast forest, but under normal circumstances, most soul masters will leave on their own after meeting each other to avoid misunderstandings. But staying here like Wu Xing is actually very rude behavior. If he hadn't noticed that the other party's soul power was at the soul sect stage, the middle-aged mentor might have expelled him long ago. I'm from the origin. I got lost accidentally. I would like my senior to show me the way out. Wu Xing cupped his hands and said sincerely. When he heard Wu Xing's answer, the middle-aged tutor was stunned. He never expected that the man in front of him was actually lost in the sunset forest. He opened his mouth for a moment, not knowing what to say, mainly because it's so weird. How can you get lost in the sunset forest? Several students who came over couldn't help but look at each other after hearing Wu Xing's answer, with strange looks on their faces. One of the male students even laughed out loud, facing the expressions of everyone. Wu Xing was not embarrassed and stood quietly beside him. He told the truth that there was nothing to be embarrassed about. The middle-aged mentor pondered for a moment and then asked, "Are you alone, or have you separated from your teammates?" "The next person." Wu Xing answered truthfully. "One person." When the middle-aged tutor heard this, his face was startled, and he immediately looked at Wu Xing carefully, as if he was trying to determine whether the other party was lying. Although the sunset forest does not have as powerful soul beasts as the star dough forest, it is not something that a soul sect can handle alone. If it encounters a powerful soul beast, a mere soul sect can only be buried in the tiger's mouth. What's more, this is not the outskirts of sunset forest, which is why the middle-aged mentor became suspicious. "You alone can come here safe and sound." Before the middle-aged man could speak, the student who had just laughed out loud had already laughed out loud. When several team members heard this, they also smiled with disdain on their faces, obviously not believing what Wu Xing said. The guy in front of them is about the same age as them, and his strength is not that much stronger. Even if their entire team is not led by a teacher, they may not be able to go deep into this, so how can they believe what they say? Only the female student did not mean to laugh. This was not because she was not arrogant. You must know that she was a student of the Tiandou Royal Academy. As the most prestigious academy in the Tiandou Empire, although she was not the most outstanding, she was still outstanding. Existence has a feeling of being superior to others. The reason why she didn't laugh was entirely because of Wu Xing's appearance. This was the first time she saw such a handsome man, and she never thought that a man could be so good-looking. This kind of good-looking does not refer to feminine beauty, but is full of the jade tree stands in the wind, graceful and majestic. It is said that whether a man is handsome depends on his bones rather than his skin, and Wu Xing is not only good-looking, but also has an indescribable temperament in his bones. He feels like spring breeze when he raises his hands. He is neither humble nor overbearing when facing the teacher's questions, and is neither humble nor overbearing when facing the teammates' questions. The sarcasm was dealt with indifferently, and there was even a look mixed with confidence, which made her fascinated. In fact, although Wu Xing is handsome, it is not to the extent that he can make women unable to walk. The main reason is that he has obtained the heart of origin and has been washed by his soul power to become so extraordinary. As for self-confidence, not to mention, apart from the diary system, the confidence Wu Huan brought to him also gave him enough confidence. The middle-aged man who was the instructor was naturally aware of this. The identity of the man in front of him was probably unusual. He should be someone from a big family or a large sect. Therefore, he coughed and interrupted the student's ridicule. Then he said, since you got lost in the sunset forest, it just so happens that we have completed the purpose of this trip. If you are not in a hurry, let's go out together after my students have absorbed the soul rings. Normally, he would not have invited him like this. He would have just explained the route or thrown in a map, but Wu Xing's temperament made him think he was from a big family, and as soul master with such a background, he doesn't mind selling a favor, even if it's not, there's no loss, right? He had not considered whether there was any conspiracy or the like. How could a soul master who could serve as a mentor in the Tiandou Royal Academy be an ordinary person? In addition, this is within the Tiandou Empire. Who dares to target these people without fear of death? Then I'll thank you, senior. Upon hearing this, Wu Xing's face showed joy. He was still worried that it was just a guide or a map. There was no question whether he could understand it or not. Now someone is willing to take him out. That's the best thing. It's okay. The middle-aged tutor waved his hand and said no more, even if he is going to be accommodating, he still has an air of pride. Which of the students he teaches does not come from a big family or a big sect? There are even grandsons of royal princes. Hearing the instructor's decision, all the students were a little surprised. They didn't expect the teacher to do this. However, soon the male student who originally laughed at Wu Xing spoke again, "Hey, what level of Soul Master are you?" "Level 30 Soul Lord." Regarding the man's inquiry, Wu Xing did not hide anything and said calmly, although the man in front of him was sarcastic to him just now, he still needed to trouble the other teacher so as not to turn against him. "Level 30 Soul Lord." The man was stunned, and said for a moment, "Haha, level 30 Soul Lord, you can get here safely and unharmed. It seems that you are not very lucky. It's a fluke." Wu Xing replied calmly, seeing that the guy in front of him didn't seem to care about his ridicule, the man suddenly felt bored and said nothing more. He quickly got together with his companions. Although he was the grandson of Prince Snow Star of the Tiandou Empire and was very proud, he's not the kind of person who wants to make other people feel bad without any thought. Instead, the female student came to Wu Xing with great interest, looked at Wu Xing for a while, and then said, "Did you really break in here alone?" "Yeah." Wu Xing nodded. "Didn't you encounter a soul beast?" The female student asked again, facing the female student's inquiry. Wu Xing explained, "I met a few, but they were not very strong, so I beat them away." "So powerful." When the female student heard this, she was slightly surprised. What the other party said was too indifferent. "It's okay," Wu Xing said with a smile. He didn't expect that this female student would take the initiative to talk to him. Hee hee. The female student chuckled, then stretched out her hand and said, "My name is Su Ruashi, nice to meet you." "My name is Yuan Yuan. I just told your mentor. You should have heard me." Wu Xing smiled and stretched out his hand, which was instantly released. This was considered a simple acquaintance between the two parties. Chapter 10 Invitation, please collect. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The conversation between the two parties did not involve the kind of bloody plot where a person gets angry and becomes a beauty. This may be because Su Ruashi returned to the team not long after the two people talked. In this world, appearance and temperament can certainly add points, but the most important thing is one's own strength. Wu Xing would not think that the other person would fall in love with him at first sight, unless it was like the little dolphin Shui Yue with the nymphomaniac attribute in the anime, and the reason why she behaves like this is probably due to environmental factors. After all, Tianshui College is all female, and there are not many members of the opposite sex usually seen. About an hour later, the student successfully absorbed the third soul ring. After sharing some joy, he walked towards the outskirts of the forest under the leadership of the middle-aged instructor. "Which college are you a student from?" The middle-aged instructor asked Wu Xing casually as he was on the way. "Senior, I have not joined any academy." Wu Xing, who was following him, replied calmly. The middle-aged mentor paused slightly, without thinking much, and asked curiously, "Then which major sect are you a disciple from?" "To be honest, senior, I am not a disciple from any major sect. I am just a civilian soul master. Wu Xing shook his head and replied with a smile. Public soul master. The middle-aged mentor was stunned, then stopped, and couldn't help but ask, how old are you this year? 23 years old. Wu Xing replied, a little surprised by the middle-aged mentor's reaction. 23 years old. The middle-aged tutor was surprised again when he didn't come, and subconsciously grabbed Wu Xing's hand. Seeing the middle-aged mentor's actions, Wu Xing was confused, but did not pull back. He didn't know what his answer just meant. The 23-year-old soul master. Most of the students of Tiandou Royal Academy are in this range, but that is because he has a good education and a variety of resources. As a civilian soul master, Wu Xing, but to be able to achieve such an achievement at this age can definitely be called a genius. Take the student who just absorbed the soul ring by himself. He could reach level 21 at the age of 30, but he is already an elite in the academy. Otherwise, he would not be able to represent the Tiandou second team in the all-continent elite competition. If Wu Xing has a good education and the resources provided by the academy, his achievements will be high but not low. This is why the middle-aged instructor was a little embarrassed when he heard that the other party was a civilian soul master. After touching the bone age, the middle-aged instructor released his hand and exclaimed, "You are really 23 years old." Wu Xing realized what was going on after hearing this. What was going on with this tutor of Tiandou Academy? His feelings were about testing his age, but was there any need to make a fuss about it? Are you interested in joining Tiandou Royal Academy? After staying for a while, the middle-aged instructor who saw Lai Xinxi asked. In order to make the other party interested, he continued to explain, if you join Tiandou Royal Academy, under the training of the academy, the strength can be greatly improved. This. Wu Xing was dumbfounded. He never expected that he would be taken seriously. Was he too lucky? What? You don't believe what the instructor said? Seeing Wu Xing's hesitation, the middle-aged instructor raised his eyebrows slightly. You must know that it is a great honor for a civilian soul master to join the Tiandou Royal Academy, but this kid in front of him is still hesitant. Senior, of course I didn't mean that. Wu Xing shook his head. Then why do you have any hesitation? The middle-aged mentor said angrily. Yes, Yuan, if you can join Tiandou Royal Academy, the cultivation you will receive will definitely be beyond what you can compare to before. Before Wu Xing could answer, Su Ruoxi from behind stepped forward to persuade. The conversation between Wu Xing and the teacher just now was heard by all the students behind him. They thought the other party was from some big family or sect, but they didn't expect that he was a civilian soul master. They generally looked down upon civilian soul masters, but if they were civilians who could reach level 23 soul masters at the age of 30, they would not look down upon them, and Su Ruoxi tried to persuade her. After all, Wu Xing was so handsome and talented. If he could join the Tiandou Royal Academy, wouldn't he be the first to get the upper hand? It's no wonder she thinks so. Wu Xing's appearance and temperament are really in line with her taste. The reason why he didn't show such urgency before was entirely because he didn't know the other person's talent, and he could reach the level of soul master by himself. Faced with the middle-aged mentor's words and Su Ruoxi's persuasion, Wu Xing thought for a moment, and then asked, Senior, I would like to ask how long it will be until the Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Elite Competition. The Continental Advanced Soul Master Academy Competition. The middle-aged instructor was stunned for a moment and replied, less than a year, specifically 10 months and 7 days. Then I am willing to join Tiandou Royal Academy. Wu Xing heard this and said in response, he decided to join the Tiandou Royal Academy, naturally because he would be able to torture Tang San in front of thousands of people in the competition. It was definitely not to meet the beauties who were about to appear one after another. Well, absolutely not. Okay, very good. When the middle-aged tutor heard this, he patted Wu Xing on the shoulder with a hearty smile, and then said, the tutor's name is Yu Feng, you can call me Teacher Yu from now on. Teacher Yu. Wu Xing called. Origin, we will be classmates from now on. Seeing Wu Xing agree to join Tiandou Royal Academy, Su Ruoxi's beautiful eyes lit up, and the more she looked at him, the more she fell in love with him. several male students, on the other hand, reacted differently to Wu Xing joining the Tiandou Royal Academy. Some of them didn't care, some were indifferent, some were disdainful, and some even showed some hostility. As for the male students who were somewhat hostile, it was needless to say that it was because of Su Ruoshi, but due to the presence of the teacher, they did not show any excessive behavior. Origin, what kind of martial spirit are you? Yu Feng asked curiously. After laughing, Wu Xing whispered, blue silver grass. Lan Yin Chao. Yu Feng almost stumbled and fell to the ground when he heard this, looking at Wu Xing in disbelief. I was careless. I asked him to join Tiandou Royal Academy without asking him clearly what kind of martial spirit he was. Now it's too late to regret it. Blue silver grass. That is a useless martial spirit. What's the use of having high talent? When Su Ruoshi heard Wu Xing talking about his martial spirit, her pretty face changed slightly. She did not expect that the other party's martial spirit would be blue silver grass, and all kinds of feelings came to her heart. It turns out he is a useless martial soul. No wonder he is not a disciple of any sect and has not joined any academy. I'm afraid no one will accept him. A male student who was originally unhappy because Su Ruoshi was close to Wu Xing suddenly laughed and laughed. Wu Xing ignored this guy who was laughing at him. What happened to Lan Yin Chao? Blue silver grass can torture you. With your character, no wonder you will be the worst background slap in the face in 1 minute. Is your martial spirit really blue silver grass? Yu Feng was a little unwilling to give up and asked again, staring closely at Wu Xing. Wu Xing nodded, with a smile on his face as he slowly stretched out his hand, slightly stimulating his soul power, and a dazzling, blue silver grass appeared in the center of his palm. This. The middle-aged mentor looked at the blue silver grass in Wu Xing's hand and felt like crying. What a sin, he was a wise man all his life. And just when he regretted why he recruited Wu Xing to join Tiandou Royal Academy when he had nothing to do, black halos slowly lit up from under the opponent's feet. Please bookmark the new book, vote, and comment. Your support is the motivation for me to code. I will add updates as appropriate.